Ella Anderson, an ambitious third-year literature major at the world-renowned Harvington University, was deeply engrossed in her towering pile of books within the hallowed walls of the university's age-old central library. A place of historic and scholarly significance, the library was adorned with grand stone pillars and arches, ornate wooden bookshelves, and an ancient world map plastered across its vast ceiling. Ella, huddled in her favorite corner, was relentlessly preparing for her looming end-term examinations. Her focus was locked on the ethereal works of Emily Brontë, the intricacies of her narratives weaving a web of complex emotions around her. Amid the still, near-silent ambience of the library, the unexpected happened. An abrupt hic resonated through the space. The outburst caused a stir, eliciting a round of curious glances and raised eyebrows. Ella's cheeks flushed with embarrassment, a stark contrast to her usual composed demeanor. She tried to brush off the hiccup as an incidental mishap, but the intrusive sound resurfaced time and again. Despite her attempts to camouflage herself behind her fortress of literary classics, every couple of minutes, the library's tranquility was shattered by her hiccups, amplifying her humiliation. Hidden amongst the shadows of an adjacent aisle, engrossed in her detailed medical science textbooks, was Marian, Ella's best friend and confidant. The distinctive sound of Ella's hiccups interrupted her focus. She was well versed with Ella's rare hiccuping episodes, each an endurance test of its own. Feeling Ella's embarrassment, she decided to intervene, create a clear title, and give more context with a subtitle. Armed with a glass of cool water fetched from the old brass dispenser, Marian approached Ella, hoping to alleviate her hiccup-driven discomfort. As she handed the glass to Ella, she whispered comforting words, reminding her of past trials. "The last time it was almost an hour, Elle. You made it through that, didn't you?" Ella nodded, sipping the water slowly, yet her diaphragm remained unaffected. The first strategy having failed, Marian attempted a sudden shock technique, jumping from behind a bookshelf and yelling "boo," hoping to startle the hiccups away. The only result, however, was a startled Ella, her hands flailing and sending her meticulously arranged books flying across the table, which led to a wave of muffled laughter echoing through the library's ancient corridors. With her face now glowing like a ripe tomato, Ella confided in Marian, "I hardly ever get these hiccups, but when they strike, it's a disaster." Marian, recalling similar events from their high school years, sympathetically nodded. As the amused eyes of fellow students bore into them, Marian came up with one last idea, the age-old home remedy of breathing into a paper bag. Desperate for a reprieve, Ella complied, her hopeful eyes peeking over the bag's rim. Yet, the persistent hiccups refused to yield, continuing their unwelcome concert. Finally, after an agonizing 35 minutes that felt like an eternity to Ella, her diaphragm decided to call it quits. The abrupt silence that followed was almost deafening. The spectators of the Hiccup saga, who had been covertly observing, now quietly returned to their books. Through the entire ordeal, Marian marveled at Ella's resilience. Her bouts of embarrassment were palpable, but she didn't let them deter her. She didn't flee the library, didn't abandon her studies. She merely weathered the hiccup storm, and once the tumult had passed, she reorganized her scattered books, readjusted her glasses, and dived right back into the literary world that awaited her. As they shared a tired, triumphant smile under the warm glow of the library's antique chandeliers, Marian found yet another reason to cherish her friendship with Ella, a tenacious, courageous woman who navigated every hiccup, whether literal or figurative, with steadfast determination and grace.